Meta.
Facebook is pretty. Listen, the content is not well received on Facebook of anything that. Well, anyway, we probably shouldn't go there. But what's up, everybody? How you doing, Mike
Facebook
Allen?
doesn't exist anymore. It's Meta now.
Oh, it's Meta, right? Right. They
There you
messed
go.
that up. They
I feel like
they
I need to change my name to just Mike because you guys are so cool. You don't even need a second name.
yeah. I mean, maybe you should, but it's too late. We're rolling
Yeah,
now.
you're like Pele and Ronaldo.
That's a old reference. Holy crap, Pele.
Listen, he's into.
You
the
knew what I meant, didn't you?
ancient-
I did, but I don't know that a lot of people would.
Yeah.
When did he stop playing? Like the 80s?
Early '80s, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, but that was about the time you were going to App State, right? Is that about the time that you learned to pay flat rate? Is that when all that started?
No. So I didn't realize how awesome flat rate was until much later. I discovered how it was the cure for all that ails me.
So is that like how you is it how I'm just curious, how do you talk your technicians into the thing where you take massive advantage of them? It almost seems kind of like
Get
not
some from
gonna
the
use the word I was
dealership. They don't
thinking
know
about.
anything else.
Okay, so I do want to talk about how they don't know anything else, right? Let's take it from a different angle. When a new customer calls in that's never been to your business and they don't know that you're awesome, 99 times out of 10, out of 100, right? They're going to ask, what's the price for X,
Right?
right? Why is that the question that they ask?
Because they don't know any other questions.
They don't know any better. They don't know to ask, are your technicians well trained? Is your facility well equipped? Do you have the right tools to do the job? Are you using a quality part that meets OE specifications or better, right?
I agree.
So all they know to ask is price because their knowledge is limited or broken, right?
Right.
Technicians complain about flat rate because it's all they know to ask about is their pay because they're not business people. More often than not, they don't know that they're being taken advantage of by a broken business, by
Right.
broken management,
I can agree with that.
by ignorant.
Whoa. Hold on. Time out. These are not broken businesses. These are usually very successful businesses. The chains in our area, I mean, they're making bank. And they're paying their guys flat rate, working them 12-hour shifts, 7 to 7, usually Friday and Saturday, or they get one weekend day off, and then they get a Wednesday off and a Sunday off, that kind of thing. They're working 7 to 7, and they whatever they flag is what they flag, and that's what.
So in this labor market, that's that technician's choice to work 7 to 7 and work on weekends.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying. It's the technician's choice to do any of it.
And
Yeah.
and hang on though. It's a percentage, right? There's a percentage of businesses that operate that way, and there's a percentage of businesses that operate just they don't know any better, right? Like they weren't making any money, they had no money, they're barely surviving, and the only way they see out is I will give you a part of what I make. Here it is. Right. And they never improve the business. They never grow. So I think that there are those fleet shops. Now, the thing is those fleet shops, David, you and I talked about this a while back. We were talking about certain industries within our industry as a whole, if you will. And you brought up the fact that some of these shops are just looking for the low dollar technician. They can pay as low as they can, bang as much work as they
Those
can
are,
out.
yeah. Back to what you were just said, though, I think you're 100% wrong. 100% wrong. The shops that are struggling, they're not looking to shift to flat rate to fix the fact that they're struggling. I think these are typically one-man shops. They go to two. They hire somebody in. They're not looking for a top technician because in their mind they cannot afford it. I am making $250,000 a year gross revenue. I'm not hiring a guy that makes $100,000 a year.
Well, in their
I
mind,
cannot
they are the
afford
top tech. They just need somebody to hang parts.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that. And so what do they go after? Apprentice, first year in the business, maybe second year in the business, lube tech that wants to become a mechanic. That's who they go after, and they pay them $15 an hour.
And they take advantage of that
20 bucks
person
an
by paying them $15 an hour with no benefits.
I don't know that they're taking advantage willfully.
Oh, wait, no,
I think they're
no.
looking
If
at
flat
it.
rate shops are taking advantage of people by paying them $45 an hour and giving good benefits, then the dude with one bay is taking advantage of the kid making $15 an hour and no benefits. You can't have it both ways, brother.
And it's hourly. 1, 2. They don't bring a lot of experience to the table. I don't think my argument. I don't know about Lucas's argument. My argument is not that flat rate is necessarily taking advantage of the technician. These technicians are signing up, and you're paying them $45 an hour. It's a chunk of money. They're signing up for this. I'm saying that we are, as an industry, doing a disservice to these technicians because the business model is designed to pump out as much work as possible at as high efficiency as possible and ignores everything else. Now, obviously, you want it to
the
a certain
implication
level.
the implication there is that it ignores quality.
No. That's not the. Yes and no. The quality has to meet a certain level. It becomes a line on the P&L. I've said this 1,000 times. It's a line on the P&L. How much warranty work can we? How many comebacks can we sustain? And that number is just a line. It's just a number, right? And it doesn't matter if, for me personally, a comeback is a huge deal. I internalize it and it becomes emotional. But
Think about
a flat
it for
rate
days,
shop,
weeks.
yeah, you feel bad for it. You're like, oh man, it's a hit to the reputation. It's a hit to the ego, right?
It's like the 1-star review that you deserve, that you earned a 1-star review. You can't sleep for the whole weekend about it, right?
Yeah, where you
But you're
made
a flat rate
mistakes, like
shop. You don't do
legit.
that. I don't want to hear it.
you legit made mistakes, and yeah, you feel bad about it, and you're like, I wish we could have done this better, this, that, and the other. But I'm saying the warranty is just a number on the P&L, so that's the quality threshold. As long as it doesn't drop into this range here,
warranty should be a number on the P&L. And
I'm talking about specifically comebacks.
So the implication that you're making, though, is that I don't care about warranties or comebacks as long as it's below a certain point. And that's not fair, because I do care, and I also track warranties as a percentage of sales. I need it to be, I think it to be under 2%, right? I need it to be under 2%. Some people might say it needs to be under 1% or under 0.5% or whatever. It still bothers me. I still care about it. It keeps me up at night, just because there's a significant portion of my team that are flat rate or performance-based pay in some capacity. Doesn't mean that I suddenly don't care about comebacks or warranty.
I think it's not that I'm not saying that you, and I'm not trying to attack you personally. I'm saying in general.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely trying to attack
I'm looking
you personally.
I'm looking at the chains in our area specifically. I can tell you that they don't care, because it's just a number to them. And it's like, oh yeah, it looks like the part failed. Well, they shouldn't have put that particular part in there. Now, why did they choose that part? They could get it fast enough, they could get the approval quick enough, and they could turn the bay with revenue coming in. That's it. Why? Because they're getting paid.
So then, are we railing against flat rate, or are we railing against national chains that are just a numbers game?
The yes and yes, because I think
the flat rate argument is absolutely a red herring. It has to do with other problems. Now,
no. Hold on. I didn't flesh out all of it. I said you were saying that we don't care about quality. No, I said the quality is just a number on the line. As long as it doesn't drop in there, they don't care. Not in that, like, oh, I feel bad or whatever. Obviously, you want to keep a certain reputation level, but at the same time, it is what it is. Like, we had to get this car out the door as quickly as possible. That part was available, where I'm pushing that car out the door. I don't care. I'm not putting that whatever part on that car. I'm waiting another hour. I'm waiting another half day, because I want to put the better quality part, because if it's a big deal for me, and it may work out 80% of the time. And for a performance-based shop, if you want to call it that, that's all that they're worried about is, yeah, you know what, 80% of the time this part's going to be fine, so let's just run with it, because we need to turn the bay. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is, you do run these technicians ragged. Say what you want. Like, they are working their asses off. And at 40, that's fine. At 50, they start to break down. By 55, they have bad backs, bad knees, back elbows, bad shoulders, whatever. What's their next step?
What's the average age of technician in your shop?
And my shop,
Yeah.
they're under 30. Well, I've got one that's 35. So they're 30, 29.
But if you're not paying flat rate, you should have a bunch of 70-year-olds, right?
You conceivably, yeah. I mean, you could 7-year-olds if they could. You still have to in a shop that's salary like ours. You still have to perform at a certain level. Like it's not. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not okay to just say, well, they can just take their time with whatever. We still need to meet a minimum threshold. The problem is if your guy's flagging you 25 hours a week because he's being overly meticulous, like how long are you keeping that guy? Seriously, 25 hours a week. How long are you keeping him? You're paying him $45 an hour. How long is he sticking around?
You shouldn't keep anyone that's flagging 25 hours a week unless they're
Why
working
not?
on extremely hard diagnostic work.
Sure.
Right? And if that's what your shop is, then great.
Yeah.
At
But
25 hours a week, my guys are still making me money. So am I stressing that they get to 25 to 30 to 35? Do we want to get them at 35 to 40? Do we want them at 45? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. But at the same time, I'm not stressing because they're at 25.
so
I'm also looking at.
if every technician in your building is turning 25 hours a week, you're making
I am still
plenty of
making money. Yes, I'm still making money.
You've got a much better effective labor rate than the average shop in America.
He also has a rich wife. So,
She's not paying the shop's bills. She's not paying the shop's bills. You're deflecting here.
no,
I'm not deflecting.
I'm talking about Lucas. You're deflecting from my point
right?
here.
Like, I
I'm
see both
making
sides.
money at 25 hours a week. It doesn't matter to me that it matters to me that they're performing as well as they can possibly perform.
So
At
David,
the same time, I'm not firing them because they're 25, and I'm telling you right now, I don't know any flat rate shop that's going to put up with 25 hours a week or 30 or 35. They're looking at it as
I've
guy's not
got 4
performing.
guys that are under
He's gotta
40
go.
hours a week every week.
Under?
Under.
I think you're
And
making.
I'm happy with them because
I
they
think
work
you're
on
painting
hard
with
stuff
too
and they
broad
do
of a
good
brush,
quality
David.
work.
But okay, but why aren't you just paying them for 40 hours a week then? Why aren't
I
you
do
just
pay
paying them
mine
on
for 40
salary?
hours a
I'm
week.
not talking about
Yeah,
you. I'm
Lucas,
talking
what's
about
wrong
money.
with you, man?
I know, right? I'm
Why aren't you-
terrible.
If they're not making 40 hours a week and you're paying them flat rate and they're there for 40 hours a week, what the crap?
I think you can run business by the numbers either way. The difference for me is the owner, right? If the owner is a sleazebag or a scumbag, he can absolutely run all over his techs and treat them the wrong way. If an owner is a sleazebag, it doesn't matter whether it's flat rate or hourly or whatever it is. It is the mindset of the person in control that dictates this, right? I don't think we can paint the with such a broad brush that we look at all flat rate shops as the same and all independent shops. It doesn't work. I agree with you in a lot of aspects, and I think we've got to create a pathway for technicians to have a life once they hit that 55 mark, once they hit that 60 mark. We've got to do something different there. I don't know what it is yet.
So,
Do they have life after a certain point in a flat rate shop?
my guys do.
All of them? You're going to have
the ones who prove themselves to be competent and have the mental aptitude to continue to move up. Yeah.
Move up where? Where are they moving up to?
Well, my biggest store manager right now was a technician. Yeah, he moved up from that to shop foreman. We gave him the additional training on leadership.
So the only answer is
and then
expansion for the company. The company's got to expand to a second, third, fourth, fifth location. Otherwise, that diagnostician who is no longer, maybe is a little bit older and, maybe he is pushing 60. He doesn't want to retire. He's got a ton of knowledge, but he cannot turn 40 hours a week. Maybe he can't turn 30 hours a week. His body cannot handle it any longer. And you're one location. You're like, you're not opening up a second location. And you're like, hey, you're using up a bay. I'm going to have to hire a technician to replace you and also pay you on top of it. And you're commanding the largest salary because of your knowledge and experience.
So what is your plan to address
person?
that concern, David?
You learn how to make money at 25 hours a week.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing is even if you do that, the problem isn't a flat rate problem. The problem comes back to if you've got a technician who's aging out, he may get to the point he can't do it, right? Like, in other words, Eric's had health problems with his hands, and sometimes he struggles. And it's not even just about the hours, it's that he can't. It's that he can't come to work. He can't do it, right? And we still don't have a solution for that, whether it's flat rate or hourly. Now, you know me, I'm an hourly shop with a production bonus. And so the thing is I just don't know how we connect those dots, or how do we get to somewhere that we can take care of them in that way.
So, David, do you think that it's realistic to think that across the nation, independent automotive repair facilities can operate like your facility?
In one single location? Yeah, I think
Or 2 or 5 or 20? Because part of your complaint was based around national chains, right?
Yeah, once you start scaling, it becomes difficult. Your focus now is scaling.
So then the answer is that we should have a nation of single location operators.
No, I'm
paying salary to 70-year-old guys turning 12 hours a week.
25, 12. I don't make money.
Wait. No. If I don't make money at 30, but since you make money at 25, then it should be okay at 25.
You're okay. You're okay with your guys turning 30.
One of them turns 30. I've got 4 that are under 40 regularly.
I'm saying though, like, you're okay with that because they go to
do I wish they could turn more? Do I wish they could turn more? Of course I do. But have I made the choice to keep them even though they don't? Absolutely, because they bring value.
If the labor market wasn't as difficult, I'm not trying to pick on you, Mike, and I'm not saying my way is better. I'm not saying that. I'm saying my way works for me, and my frustration sometimes in seeing single location operators that they think that their inability to manage their staff and ineffectively manage their staff can be solved by flat rate.
Oh, yeah.
I can't get my guys to do better, therefore I'm going to pay them flat rate because that's going to fix it. I think that's extremely frustrating. The other thing too is I'm sorry, I'm the cold. Is in
Omicron?
Seeing what's that?
You're tearing
Omicron.
up. You're getting very emotional.
No,
The cold. It's the
So
anyway,
but something you said there is right on it. It is what works for you, and what works for me works for me. And Lucas is something different, and it works for him. Obviously, we have to stop trying to dictate or preach from the mountaintop that there's only one way to make this business work. There's a dozen ways to skin this cat. And,
I 100% agree, but
as long as it's your way.
No, as long as you understand what it is you're signing up for. Because the minute you start looking at it and saying that I want to scale, I got to move to flat rate, I got to start banging out as many cars as possible, I'm going to get a second and third location, there's nothing wrong with it. But know that that's what you're signing up for. That's what you're getting into.
Listen,
it may not even be.
When you say there's nothing wrong with that, but everything that came before the but doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with that, except that it's bad and it's not as good.
No, I didn't say it was bad. I just said make sure you know what it is that you're signing up for. Make sure you get a full scope. That's it. If that's what you want to go for, go nuts.
Dude,
if that's not what you want to go for, if you're like, I don't know that that's the direction I want to go in, then take a step back and okay, let's look at this. Why are you looking at flat rate as an option? Or how old are your guys? How efficient are they? How efficient is your shop? Where are the sticking points? Why do you think flat rate's going to fix this? It's probably not. And you have to look at it as
why is your team, and again, I'm not taking offense that I don't feel like you're coming at me, and I don't think you feel like I'm coming at you, but I'm curious because I didn't realize this about your business, that your guys are around 25 hours a week. Why are they that inefficient?
No, I said I can make money with them in 5 hours a week.
So how many hours are they turning?
On a good week, they'll turn 30 to 40. Okay. On a good week, all of them.
Do you feel like it is reasonable to expect 40 hours out of a 40-hour work week?
40 hours, build hours turned. Mm-hmm. Is it reasonable? Of course it's reasonable. But I look at the situation in the shop very closely. How many times did we have to push a car out, half torn apart? How long did we have to wait for parts? Did the part come in wrong and then all of a sudden we're waiting overnight? I don't have necessarily the space to have 2 bays or 3 bays per technician I would expect more, and I would have a harder line on their productivity percentage, if they had more room. At 2 bays per technician, I don't want to hear excuses. Now you've got a second bay. Go ahead.
Productivity and efficiency is even more important when you're pinched on space. Because if you've got one man per bay,
you're right. But I've got I impose variables onto the day that maybe a lot of shops don't. And for me, it's like it's parts choice, things like that. Like I'm not installing an AutoZone radiator if I can get a Koyo in the afternoon. But I can get the AutoZone radiator right now, and I can get him torn apart. He'll have that part in. That car's out the door. Meanwhile, we're pushing the car out, or I'm telling him, hey, start doing this inspection on this other rack here while we're waiting for the Koyo to come in.
But I'm certain you've got another car in line waiting to take up that bay space after you push out the radiator. You have to wait for parts, right? So I don't know. Yeah. It just struck me as surprising to hear that I initially heard that your guys are averaging 25 hours a week, which was shocking to me. But if it's 35 to 40, well, that's a little bit more manageable number to work with.
35 is a good week. At 30, I'm actually really happy. I'm making good money. At 25, we still make money. If they start dipping under 25, now like, hey, what's going on? Do I not have the car count? What's holding up? Are you stuck on this BS job that we underbid? There's 1,000 other variables in there, but that's the point.
I mean,
it's like
it does take
management. It does take looking at things to make sure.
I guess I just don't see how that connects back to the flat rate argument. I'm not saying flat rate is right, wrong, or indifferent, or the other way's right, wrong, or indifferent. I think there's 3 different opinions here, but I don't see how that ties to it.
Flat rate.
And we were looking at the different. Like Mike Allen runs on flat rate. He's like, well, what do you do? And so we started talking about what.
Well, I don't run exclusively on flat rate, right? Not all my guys are on flat rate. I think we're in a world now where, with the labor market that we've got right now, if you find a quality technician, you need to pay them how they want to be paid. If they're the right guy for your organization or girl for your organization, you just pay them the way they need to be paid to get them on board.
Amen. That's what I have slowly come to figure out.
Are you going to lose a superstar technician because he wants to be paid flat rate and you don't like flat rate?
I'd seriously question a technician comes at me and says, I want to get paid flat rate.
It's because he's been screwed over at places that didn't pay him flat rate in the past, right? It's just like there are guys who come in
hold on, that doesn't
and they want salaried.
Sense.
Huh? What?
Well, that doesn't make any sense. If you're getting paid salary, like you're signing up for X amount of dollars.
If you're getting paid salary and you're crushing 60 hours a week of high level work, you should be making more. And if he was making flat rate, he would be making more. But if you're salaried, there's no motivation. It's like, let's go down the socialism road, right? You're removing the motivation to produce. I'm going to make the same amount of money if I turn 25 hours or if I turn 55 hours. It's human nature. You're going to pull the clutch in, you're going to coast.
It depends. Because some people are just driven to perform better. And on top of that, too, so now it becomes a discussion. Like, okay, well, what does that look like? It becomes like weekly sit-downs. It's a constant discussion about build hours. And on top of that, too, like, what are the other goals for the technician? Like, it's a big deal for me to bring in new equipment. And look, I'm not saying that let me be very clear. The way I run my shop would not work for 99.9% of people.
Atypical. Okay? It is atypical.
Very much so. The owner doesn't even come in. The service advisor just hopes the place isn't on fire.
So for me, it's a bigger deal for me to buy some stupid new tool and give my tech time to go play with the tool. Now, I want to be able to pay that technician, but that means no build hours. Or he takes an extra build hour because I want him to run some test on this thing. Hey, tell me if this new amp clamp is any good. Okay, well, I'm eating that half hour that he's going to spend playing with this amp clamp. Now, that probably doesn't fly at your shop, Mike. You're like, okay, you're going to figure out a time to do this on your own, but we need to turn that bay. That thing needs to be making me money. I don't care. Like, I just want to play with the tool, and I want to see if it's any good or not, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe I send it back, maybe I keep it, whatever. Like, and so I'm asking my technicians that. And so, I bought my
we're just wired differently then. Like, I'm not going to say, absolutely. Hey, man, Miss Jones is going on vacation, and she needs her car back in time for vacation. But you know what? Go play with that new tool.
Well, hold on now. I'm not doing that.
First. Oh, don't you?
Right? Get out of here.
You called me and told me you were doing it.
But,
what?
I mean,
What?
so there's always a Miss Jones about to go on vacation.
Yeah.
Every day. Right?
But hang on. Everybody's always got some emergency. They always expect their emergency to be my
not
emergency.
Everybody. That's not true. Get out of here. Like you people
if
just
you
dropping
allow
off your
those
car.
clients in your life, you
enough
will definitely
people
have those.
Enough
you get
people
enough of them, maybe.
are in that world that there's always one available to you should you want them.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's maybe not a good fit for me. It's
So,
also
okay. So
and at the same time though, like that,
we're
that's
talking
what I'm
about
saying. Like personality.
Right? We're talking about industry wide. There's got to be somebody that is the fit, some shop that is the fit for that customer. And so we can't paint with such a broad brush and say that it has to be done this way or this way is bad or this way is good, when there has to be a shop for every sector of the buying motoring public, right? Yeah. There has to be somebody who's going to want that shop that uses the cheap part and gets it out immediately, because that's the service that they want. And it might not be you, it might not be me, but
that has created the market that we're in. And my biggest issue right now, and look, somebody's over here talking about the fact that you know, a lot of flat rate problem comes back to who's on the front counter. I can agree with that. But I will say that the biggest problem that we have is the boundary of entry into our industry. Anybody can do it. Anybody can start up and do it at any point in time. My purpose in paying the way I pay and doing what I do is taking care of my people before it's about making money or doing anything else, right? Like, I really want to take care of my people. I get a thrill of pushing things to the absolute limit. It has nothing to do with necessarily dollar bills. For me, it's the thrill of saying, hey, look what we can do here. I enjoy the optimization of it. So for me, the hours are not necessarily about, hey, you know, I want to build this many hours to make this many dollars. For me, it comes back to saying, can we do it? Can we do it correctly? Can we provide a quality product while doing this? And can we build a system that works?
So you find 3 or 4 technicians wired like that, Mike, and you don't have to pay them flat rate. That's my point. Like Dwayne Wimp said, what is the incentive to bust your ass on straight time? None. He's 100% wrong. Look, you cannot, as a like red-blooded normal human, walk into work, not bust your ass, be a dirtbag the entire day, and then at the end of the week get your paycheck and feel good about yourself. You are going to start feeling like a total dirtbag very quickly, because you are showing up to work and you feel like you are not putting enough value into the business for they are paying you.
Lucas would. I would. All the people listening to this conversation would. You're discounting that there's a lot of people in the world.
There is a lot of, but I would
abnormal.
say that I think I don't think that mindset that Lucas has is that abnormal, Malin. I think there's a lot of people like that. It maybe Lucas is about that with everything, and it's exhausting, but a lot of people are like that with other things. The idea is to find the person that's wired in that way and saying, hey, let's focus your energy into this. And it may not be necessarily build hours that you're turning. Look, I have a technician that is trying to learn EEPROM work, right? And I'm encouraging him, and I'm helping him buy the equipment, and I'm sending him to training, and I'm paying for the training. And he's setting up a side hustle business for it. I'm all for it. Let me help you set up the LLC. Let me help you with the tax stuff. And same thing with I bought
questionable advice.
So yeah, it's a questionable advice.
Consult a professional.
Always. I bought a technician a TIG welder, and because that was a skill that we didn't have in the shop, and I wanted him to learn, and I give him time. to learn how to TIG weld and use the equipment properly, this, that, the other, and it has saved us a few times having that in the shop. And these are investments that I'm making into the people that the reciprocity is in. I need you billing out X amount of hours. Your potential's here. I need you to reach in that potential. We need to make money all together. And that means you put in the effort into the business. I invest in you. You invest back into the business. We all win. That's the mentality that we take at our shop. Will it work at every single shop? No. Is it very like hippy-dippy communist social? Yeah, it is 100% that.
Well, I can tell that you were very socialist leaning. Just
Very.
Look. Communism and socialism work really well in like really small, teeny tiny groups like your family, but it doesn't work well when you try and put government in a country.
He backed himself slap into a corner.
No,
hey,
it doesn't work in a country. Look, you can't put 330 million people. It doesn't work. It works in a family. It works in a shop.
Listen, we've got to at least answer Dex Friday's question. The 300% rule, Dex. That's all there is to that.
Whoa!
Where are we seeing questions?
In the comments, you got to click comments, bro. You can see all these people who say,
"How do I explain to the customer the cost of ownership?"
Holy crap! Everybody, talk amongst yourself. I have to read all the comments.
How do I explain to the customer the cost of ownership of 2006 76? You don't. Yeah, 300% rules, right?
Yeah. If you follow the 300% rule, boom, you're taken care of. That's all there is to it because they
you do not tell them, hey, you can't afford this. Like, come on. Like maybe they set aside tens of thousands of dollars to put struts in that 760 IL.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you present it and they can pay for it. I mean, look, I got in this huge argument. I don't want to call it an argument. Somebody was trash talking the shop over the weekend on one of those social media groups, right? And he was saying that all of this stuff, like we sent cars out without them being properly fixed. You know, we've got a quality control process supposed to catch that. And he named 3 vehicles. And they were all like things that had slipped around our process in one little way, shape, or fashion, right? And the car he was talking about, she came in after she approved testing and said, I want to pick the car up. I don't trust you guys. I want to pick the car up. I'm out of here. And he said, you recommended all of these things, right? Because it's my job as a professional to paint a clear picture of what your vehicle is going to need over the next 6 months to a year. I don't ever want you coming back here and saying, if I had known that, I wouldn't have fixed my car, or I wouldn't have done this, or I wouldn't have kept the car. That's my job as a professional to educate you. There's a lot of people in our industry who don't believe that. They think that what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to say, here's what's wrong with your car right now. Now it's fixed. Here's your invoice. Get out of here. And that saying what's wrong with the car is a disservice to the client. No, it's the exact opposite. That's the wrong mentality to have. So 300% rule the whole way.
You know, when I think of flat rate, I think of Zach McClain's story that he told on the podcast about having to diagnose an ASE or AC problem on a hybrid Toyota, and the amount of, like, you listen to him tell a story. It's like 20, 30 minutes of the podcast, him telling the story, and he's talking about you could feel the pressure he was feeling to get this diagnosis done in an hour.
But
and he's
we
going
know his
back.
shop owner, bro. I
That's
mean,
not
you
the
can't
point, though. I
compare
don't think
that
that's
much.
I don't think that's that abnormal, and
No,
I think
it's not.
and it turns into, rather than I'm going to dig in and I'm going to find the solution, I'm going to find the problem and then recommend a solution.
So,
it turns into we're going to slap this part in because it's going to work 70% of the time.
That's a management problem. That's an ownership problem. That technician should be comfortable stopping the clock at 45 minutes, writing his report, and saying, hey, here's what I've done so far. Here's what I found so far. I need more time. Here's the next test I need to run.
Here's
the issue, though. If that technician is first time on that car, that diagnostic process, that procedure is going to take longer the first or second time that they're running into that issue. Who gets penalized for that learning experience? Because that's what it is.
Who gets the win the 5th and 6th time they run into that experience?
Hang on, though.
So the technician's eating it, or the shop?
No, the technician, as a technician becomes a more effective technician and more experienced, they get the benefit of that experience, right? I'm not going to cut the time the 100th time they do the job because now they're really good at it.
Yeah.
The book time.
Some places do, but
like I said, that's an ownership and a management problem.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is let me talk a little bit about our process here and this thing that happened a while back. Terry, one of our technicians, got super frustrated with me. I went into the bay. I got him an hour for testing on a vehicle, and I gave him a very specific list of things that I wanted out of that hour. Now, I went to him at 45 minutes, and he said, "Hey, I've got 15 minutes left, and I've not found the problem. I need to take the center console apart." And I said, "Stop! Don't do anything else. Stop right now. Stop where you're at." And he's like, but I've not found the answer. I'm like, you weren't supposed to find the answer in this testing routine. If you could, great. If you couldn't, great. But my point is we had to disassemble things on the car to get the answer. I need permission for that disassembly, right? It was a center console, and I'm like, look, dude, you break something, you tear something up. If it only takes us 15 minutes to find the problem when we take it apart, and it's within time, so be it. My job as service advisor, my job as manager is to make sure that my people are properly compensated. It's not necessarily that it's flat rate this, that, or the other. And if they don't know, great. So what? I will pay you all day long to work on it. And that's why my system's set up the way it's set up, the way I pay, right? But my point being is I want to get them to where they're bringing home $120,000 a year. Right? That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. I want to give them an amazing life, not just a good life. I want to provide retirement. I want to provide all kinds of other things, and those cost money. Now, I know what you're doing, David, right? You've got a very similar system in a lot of ways. My point is that Terry would have gone on, and he would have taken that car apart. He would have got down into it and said, this is the problem. What if he'd have broke something? What if the client walked in and said, why have you got my car tore all apart? I just wanted you to do some basic testing. No, I've got to set expectations. I've got to have checkpoints throughout the process that secure us to make sure we don't go out of bounds. And it's not always just about money, right? I think that's the big thing with this. The testing is what the testing is. It's not anything about flat rate. It's just saying, look, if we go past this, I need to know so I can handle it properly with the client.
Okay, but all I'm asking is like, who's paying for that
I'm
extra
paying for
time?
In my case,
yeah.
I pay for it.
And that's my
Mike's
point,
just a piece of crap. I mean, he's
the
going to absolutely.
the customer needs to pay for it. It's their car.
Why? But why are you penalizing the customer? You're penalizing the customer because the technician doesn't have the knowledge, and the second and third customer is going to benefit off that first customer's dollar. And I'm saying like that at our shop, the shop eats it. We eat it. I can only charge X amount of dollars.
Lots of things, dude. I hear about what y'all have got cooked up every day for lunch. It's crazy.
So
no more Thai. I like Thai 4 days in a row.
So by that logic, David, any compensation plan that has a performance-based incentive portion, some capacity, rewards for hitting goals or whatever it might be, however you format it, is going to have the same underlying motivational influences. So the only type of compensation plan that doesn't run into that is salary. But then you're going to run into human nature. A percentage of the population on salary is going to coast. So there's not a perfect answer, right?
You're right to a certain degree. Here's what.
Can you cut that out? I'm going to need that on the soundboard.
I can splice up whatever you want. Here's the deal though. Like, so my wife works for a very large corporation, and all of her managers are salary. She's salary. The staff that works under her managers are salary. They are still expected to perform to a certain level. Now, there's no way to incentivize the way the work that she does. I guess you could if you got really creative. How are you telling me that they are capable of putting out the productivity and the work? Now, I'm not saying that she don't have a lot of lazy. She does. Is there a chunk of her employees that need to go because they're cruising? Absolutely. But if that's true everywhere, all the time, and maybe it's easier to identify on a flat rate system because that guy is only turning 23 hours because that guy is okay making that money where everybody else is, and you're like, well, I'm already paying 23 hours, and you can at least very quickly identify if there's a problem employee there. But I'm saying, like, this is a huge corporation, and they are running just fine on salary for everybody. It doesn't make any sense that we can't translate that same drive and push and management of employees and expectations into a smaller setting at a small shop. It just doesn't make any sense. When I was in the corporate world, I was paid salary. Did I get a bonus? Yeah, I got a bonus. My employees get bonuses. But I got a bonus based off performance. But at the end of the day, I got paid salary. I was one of the top performing managers that the company had. I killed it. Why?
Yeah,
It had nothing to do with my salary. It was a matter,
dude,
just like
hang
Lucas
on,
was
though.
saying,
Hang
like
on,
I
hang
wanted
on.
to perform at a peak level.
You know, and I'm going to say the same thing to you that I'm going to say to Daniel Claude. I completely 100% agree. There are a lot of technicians, there are a lot of people. You know me, I'm going to drive for it. I'm going to push as hard as I can possibly push to be successful. But there are a lot of people, and there's a lot of technicians who will slide. I've had those technicians. I made a video about one the other day, or a reel, right? There are a lot who will just slide, and they will become toxic over just sliding, and it's all your fault. So my point is that I either have to very, very carefully screen who's coming into the shop, or I have to come up with a way that they're not going to be able to stay. So at some point, I've got to put
Or you don't let them
some type
slide.
of measure.
You don't
in
let
place.
them slide.
You have to be small enough and tight enough that you can have a crew of people who are
It
driven
doesn't
the same
scale.
way that we are.
Absolutely. You're
And-
absolutely 100% right, Mike. It does not scale in any way, shape, or form.
But if you're going to scale,
If you're going to
Then-
scale, then you do not do anything that I said.
Well, so- but
that's
look-
not going to work at all.
now you guys know that I'm trying to scale, right? And I'm trying
Well,
to grow
yes,
my
we
business.
know. Yes.
And I've got guys that are flat rate. I've got guys that are hourly. I've got guys that are salary plus. I've got all of those things because, I mean, as I said earlier, pay them the way they want to be paid
Yeah.
if they're the right person for the position, right?
Yep.
But all of these arguments come down to failures of management, failures of ownership, failures of direction. Flat rate can be a home run in a well-operated shop. So can salary.
Yeah.
Flat rate or salary can be a total train wreck in a poorly
Yes.
run shop.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
if you're in a poorly run shop and you're salaried, they're going to fire you because they don't have enough work.
Yeah. And here's the other aspect that I think we need to bring up is that there are a lot of really bad technicians and a lot of really good technicians, right? Like we can't look at the market and say, and I hate to say that, but it's true, right? There's a lot of guys who break a lot of stuff. There's a lot of guys who shouldn't be here working on cars. And unfortunately, you called Isaac out again, Mike Allen, man, you're
I don't know
awful.
what I did. I do want
I
to
don't
call out
even know what
Malin
he
real quickly,
said.
though, because it's YOU''RE. Just putting that out there, Malin.
But here's the thing: is that the bad technicians in the bad shops are punishing the good technicians in the good shops, right? That's the extent of it. We've got some bad operators, and that's where the barrier of entry thing comes for me. Is that if we don't have some type of barrier of entry that says just any Joe Blow can't come out here and start a shop, he can't access certain aspects of the vehicle, we're going to continue to see this unless there's some type of professional capacity. And we've heard this before. ASE was supposed to be that, and they didn't do it. Right? And so we've got to either come up with a way to provide a barrier of entry. I think NASTF is a great way to do that through the VSP. But if we just keep letting anybody in, we're going to continue to see this. And right now there's a technician shortage, so shops are hiring guys that should not be working on cars to work on cars, and they're making us all look bad.
There isn't a technician shortage. It's a shop surplus. That's what it is.
Ah, I see.
No technician shortage.
So those of you who have stuck it out, right, we've got a really special surprise.
We ran a bit long.
Yeah, exactly. David is going to show his nipples on live. No, please don't. I was just
David's launching his OnlyFans.
That's it. His only
This is
fan.
the announcement of my OnlyFans.
Take the S off. All right. So ASTE
My
is
only
very
fan. My one fan.
just one. Too bad it's not your wife. Listen, I don't care what you and Dutch do when you're not around. Me, the only young thing.
Whoa. Whoa.
Daniel Claude says, please don't. So, look, ASTE registration is officially open. And we've got a link for you that's just going to get those watching in for right now. The main site will be forwarding over very soon, but we have a link. David's going to post it up. I've shared it with him in the private chat. He's just now finding out about that. But ASTE registration is open. Guys, Mike and I have both seen the classes. These classes are amazing. I mean, just absolutely amazing.
I'm
go
so
over there.
excited.
Yeah, on Saturday, there is a class called Learn to Lead. Jim Kokonis has got a big hand in that. It is an amazing class. It is an instructor that is coming back, making a reappearance, and that is going to be an absolutely amazing class on culture. You've got Matthew Skundrich, you've got Keith Perkins, you've got Brandon Steckler, Jim Morton. This is the absolute best training event I've ever seen. The ASOG dinner will be there. What else am I missing, Mike? David, do you think of anything I'm missing?
There's a Yang event, which looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're all too old for it, but that should be awesome.
Not Lucas. Lucas is still.
No, I'm out of
Little
the,
baby
I'm out of the
Lucas.
category now. I'm out of the category.
I mean, I was just looking at the catalog of classes and going over with my managers, and it's. I mean, I'm having a hard time not closing all the stores for Thursday and Friday because we always close for Friday and send everybody Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah.
But there's the add-ons for Thursday, which look like some incredible stuff.
Yeah, dude. You've got Seth Thorson and Justin Morgan teaching. It's not quite what you would call a hands-on class. It's more of like they're going to be videoing it. They're going to be working on Pico 7. They're actually going to be hands-on to a degree, showing you what they're doing with a real-life car in the ballroom right there at the same time. You've got EV training. Seth developed an EV class for what you can do on hybrid right now. In other words, what services you can already do. Man, he developed that class just for ASTE, so that is going to be massive.
You should start reading off these classes. Holy crap!
You start
So
reading
Jim-
them
Like
off.
50 of them.
Jim
man.
Morton, I know Jim Morton. He's up. He has a 2022 update to his Sherlock Holmes diagnostics. That's on Friday morning. Brandon Steckler at the same time. You're making people decide between Brandon Steckler and
It
Jim
wasn't-
Morton. What is
We
wrong
were running
with
out
you?
of places, dude.
What is wrong with you? Like, these are feature people. Like, you put them on separate dates. This is
Too many
Mike
feature
Allen's
people,
fault.
not enough days.
He was on flat rate, and he he's like, screw this.
We literally could have done a much larger event if we wanted to. Isaac brings this up. I was getting ready to read this off. Isaac is doing a hands-on high voltage class, right? Like, how cool is that?
Learn how to get electrocuted. with
Exactly.
Isaac.
Well, with Isaac, you know,
efficiently
he is-
on flat rate.
efficiently on flat rate.
Hey, and here's the cool thing: is we have live hands-on classes at the CTI Research and Development Center. How cool is that? That's like a one-off opportunity just to get to see the Research and Development Center.
And
Right?
it's a
Some of
super
the
cool
smart,
facility.
yeah, exactly. Some of the smartest minds in automotive today are going to be there teaching classes and be there to facilitate.
That's just on Thursday, though,
classes.
right?
Yeah, CTI is going to be open the
All the way
entire
through.
event.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Let's see. You have got Garage Gurus bringing their mobile classroom back. You got Cecil Bullard. Right on Thursday, Cecil is teaching an all-day sales success workshop. Man, there is everything you could imagine here. Matthew Skundrich. Everybody hates and loves Matthew Skundrich at the exact same time. I'm gonna.
Is he? I one of my technicians took his key class at Vision, and it was legit.
Yeah, that's what he's
So,
doing here.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that I am in
Richard Falco, conquering data network issues. Chris
David?
Cotton, diagnosing the health of your auto repair business. Come on, we got to read these off. They got to
No,
know.
I can't read all these off. I can't even read, dude.
Malin. Well, that's
Look, I am in a chat group that says never going to be on a podcast with Matthew Skundrich just because you won't ever let the dude back on the podcast. He thinks it's my fault. You got Rick
Who?
White coming. Oh, and hey, listen, Hunter's teaching some really, really cool classes, right? There's a lot of tire classes for the tire shops. You know, we just recently merged with the North Carolina Tire Dealers Association. We've got a lot of tire classes and a lot of tire information in there.
If you're an independent shop owner and you don't understand the economics and the profitability of tire business,
Yeah.
a lot to be learned there. There's a all-day class on Thursday about the economics of getting into EV and hybrid work and tooling appropriately for it, and
Yep.
that'll be interesting for owners and managers. That'll be good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there is all kinds of cool stuff. Pete Meyer, Hunt Demarest. I hope I said his name right. He's going to be there.
Damrest, isn't it?
Demarest. Demarest.
yeah.
Sorry, Hunt.
Hunt's going to be there.
Hunt.
Hunt's going to be
Demarest.
there. I don't think we even have to use his last name. Everybody knows him at this point. Darren Barney from Elite. So all kinds of really cool stuff. Now you got to go to that link, right? It is not forwarding from the ASTE website yet. This is early access. So you have to go to the link that we've shared. Make sure you get over there. You need to register and pick your classes ASAP. It is going to fill up really quick. These class sizes are very limited, especially the hands-on and especially the Thursday classes. If you need help registering, call Mike Allen's cell phone. It's 9.
Yeah. I'm about to come over the top rope on you.
Seriously, though, if you got problems, call Trisha. Don't tell her we said to call.
There you go.
So, guys, go register. You know, like I said, it is going to fill up really quick. Everybody you know is going to be there. I hear that there is going to be a panel with a man named Paul Scanner Danner. So that looks like it's going to be really awesome. We'll be there podcasting the whole 9 yards, so I can't wait to see everybody there.
Flat rate's the way to go.
Yep. Definitely.
I held my bubbly up to the microphone when I cracked it open. I wanted to see if I could get a reaction out of David, and he didn't even look up.
What's that?
Look,
Nah,
get your
this is
can
a
of
live
mints and start
stream.
shaking them around.
Live streams, it's whatever. It even goes on live streams. It doesn't matter.
Dutch says he can't see the link. David, you failed Dutch again. I can't believe this.
Because he's on my personal Facebook profile, maybe? I don't know. Like it's shared. It's on the
.bizabo or bo BIZZABO.com /3.
Are you really reading a link?
940. Yes.
You're reading the text of a link.
Listen, Dutch is going to come back and replay this 5 or 6 times just to get that link out of it because he can't find it. I promise.
Dutch, if you need help setting up your flat rate pay plans, just give me a call. I can drive down to Charlotte and we can get lunch and I can show you how to do it.
You're going to get us all shot. You know that? You were going to get us all shot. You're talking about a man. We're in Longhorn. Listen.
It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, boys.
I grabbed the bill in Longhorn in Pineville, North Carolina one time. And that lady, the waitress, looks at me like, no, please don't do that. And Dutch pulls his pistol out of his pocket and lays it down on the table and says, boy, I'll shoot you. I'm like, oh, shit, he's serious. They want the link in the comments, David. Post it again. Come on, don't make people...
posted it in the comments. Again. What do you want me to do?
Do it again. There's a lot of comments between now and then, buddy.
If he was flat rate, he would have got it right the first time.
Exactly. You got Kent. Kent's going to be teaching some classes. So... Mike Allen's teaching classes on flat rate. It's going to be like a stand-up in the atrium. Hey,
I'll be teaching classes at the bar.
Yeah, Fireball 101.
Nope, only the good whiskey.
Okay, all right, I'm good with that. Bland, that's cool. Let's go. You know, one interesting fact about this is this year we have the entire hotel, right? Like every single person there is going to be there for ASTE. That is all there is to it. What's the warranty time on that link posting? 0.25. So, you know, look, the entire hotel, we have got the atrium. We're going to be in the restaurant. We're going to hold panels and discussions and all kinds of stuff. Every single thing on property will be about automotive. So we really want to see you guys there. ASOG dinner, we're going to open registration for it whenever David gets his life together. May never happen. I don't know.
No, I got to sign the contract for the space. I'll do that today.
Where's it going to be? Can you say out loud where it's going to be?
It's going to be at the Paramount event venue. You familiar?
I'm not. Google's about to tell me all about it, though.
He's going to be like, oh, that place is in a
rough that's where
area.
The shooting was last weekend.
Yeah.
Looks very nice.
Yeah, it looks awesome, and they're going to hook us up, and we're going to have the entire building for the dinner.
Actually, Isaac, we're too big for restaurants now. We've got too many people.
Yeah, it's like 6 miles from the hotel, so it'll be really easy to get to. There's 100 parking spots. It fits like 300 people, so I mean, whatever. That'll be awesome.
Come on, you can make it from Alberta, Canada.
It's
Jeff
you
Compton's
start walking
coming
now.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff Compton's coming. Come on now.
That's as conceivably far. I guess if somebody came from Alaska, that would be a little bit further. But
hey, listen, Jeff said that there are lines at the passport offices to be able to get your passport to get out of the country. He says he's going to go get in line in the next week or so he just stands there until they let him in. Somewhere with food, yes, somewhere with food. Going to have awesome food. And we've got a really
we are still
awesome
working
speaker
on
coming.
the food. We're still working on what kind of menu we're going
Y'all
to
know
end up
David.
I feel like it's
If
got to be
David's gonna
North.
eat, it's
It's
gonna
got to
be
be a
awesome.
North Carolina barbecue pig picking style meal, right? You got all these people coming from around the country.
Yeah, well, we did that last year though, and
Oh, did you?
so I definitely want to go southern. So I'm talking to a couple caterers. There's one. She's like, "Oh yeah, we do this whole thing. Everything's smothered in gravy. It's fantastic." And I'm like, "Bet,
You can
let's
like
do
feel
it."
your arteries clogging while you're eating it.
Yes.
He had
So,
called Paula Dean, but she said she had already been canceled. He
she's
got really
Georgia,
upset about
isn't
it.
she?
Yeah.
So you
We're
should.
looking for something authentic. What's legit North Carolina other than barbecue?
Mama Dips is internationally recognized Southern soul
I'm
food.
talking like, yeah. So yeah, that would be. But I'm talking about plates. Like, what's a dish that's like?
Oh man, you
guys-
probably don't
you
want to
don't
talk about this.
know?
We got fried chicken. You got. I mean, look, the list is miles long. Yeah, yeah.
Whatever.
Taters. Got mashed taters.
Mashed taters. Mama Dips, really?
Yeah, it would not be cheap. I've never been to an ASOG dinner. I don't know what y'all's budget
Yeah,
per
you-
plate
you-
is like.
You're not really welcome as a flat rate shop, man. We don't like your kind being there. I mean, sorry, buddy.
I usually take my entire crew out to dinner that night.
Well, that's the only time they get any money out of you, so it's okay, it's cool. You can bring them too. You know, you could support a good cause, but you know those selfish flat rate guys.
I'm sure that y'all won't have any trouble selling tickets. You'll be all right.
Mike always buys tickets. No. Let's make sure Mike gets his. Mike always buys tickets. He always donates, and we thank you very much. He always donates. He doesn't show, but he always donates.
So, yeah, Mike donates.
He's very generous. What?
He is generous. He
We have a bunch of shop
yelled in
owners
front of
that
a
are
whole
like,
restaurant one night that he got to buy me dinner. He snuck the bill out of my hand.
fried okra.
Yeah,
Just piles of fried okra.
Man.
Yeah. I'd be down.
How long are we just going to go along just like naming random foods?
Oh, we could. Hey, listen, we
Collard
could do that
greens.
all day.
Collard greens.
He hasn't watched any of our
Hey,
like
listen.
live streams, videos, podcasts. Like,
David
get me
went
started
on
with
for
food.
45 minutes about a pot of collard greens one time that he put too much pepper in. And listen, the
ghost
entire
peppers in it.
I want to say it was Apex. Everybody at Apex paid for his indiscretions that week after that. It was terrible.
That was sad. It ruined an entire pot of collard greens.
Baked mac and cheese. Oh god dang it. All right, listen,
All right.
I know it's not lunchtime, but I'm hungry. I got to go.
All right. We're good.
All right, go register for AST.
Yeah,
Before
I'll
the
put
tickets
it in
sell
the.
out. You better hurry.
I'll put the link in the description. Are they
I'll
going to
see
change
you
it?
at
or-
ASTE, if not before.
Cool. See you there.
All right. Smooches.